In 1905, Alfred Binet and Theodore developed the Binet-Simon scale, which created an effective means of measuring intelligence. In 1913, Edward Lee Thorndike published his book, in which it describes the connections between stimuli and response. The American Federation of Teachers is founded in 1916. In the same year, John Dewey's Democracy in Education is published. The Smith-Hughes Act passes, providing federal funding for agricultural and vocational education. This is repealed in 1997. The Progressive Education Association is founded with the goal of reforming American education. By 1919, all states have laws providing funds for school transportation. The International Council for Exceptional Children is founded at Columbia University Teachers College. In 1925, Tennessee versus John Scopes, the monkey trial teacher, convicted for teaching evolution. In 1926, the Scholastic Aptitude Test is introduced, better known as SAT. In 1929, Jean Piaget's The Child's Conception of the World is published. In 1929, we enter the Great Depression. In 1935, the Works Progress Administration is created and includes hundreds of new schools to be built. In 1939, all public school buses are now required to be yellow. When the U.S. enters World War II, it causes a teacher shortage and school construction to be stopped. In 1944, the GI Bill is signed by FDR. Colleges double their student population. Around 238,000 new teachers are created. In 1946, 1 minute after midnight, the first of 78 million baby boomers is born, resulting in massive school population and social change. B.F. Skinner then publishes Science and Human Behavior. Its ideas about behaviorism influenced the structure of American schools. In 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka rules that separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. In 1957, federal troops enforce integration in Little Rock, Arkansas, as the Little Rock Nine enroll in Central High School. The passage of the National Defense Education Act changes the role of science in the classroom. The Civil Rights Act becomes law in 1964. It prohibits discrimination based on race, color, sex, religion, or national origin. In 1965, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act is passed on April 9th as part of Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty. The Higher Education Act is signed and increases federal funding for higher education. The Head Start program is created. In 1968, the Supreme Court finds that laws prohibiting the teaching of evolution in a public school are unconstitutional. In 1970, Jean Piaget's book, The Science of Education, is published. His learning cycle model helps to popularize discovery-based teaching approaches. In 1971, a federal court rules that students with mental disabilities are entitled to a free public education. In 1972, one of the Education Amendments prohibits the discrimination based on sex in all aspects of education. In 1975, Newsweek's story, Why Johnny Can't Read, indicates a failing U.S. educational system that is creating semi-literates. In 1982, the U.S. Supreme Court rules that books cannot be removed from a school library because school administrators deem their content to be offensive. The report of the National Commission of Excellence in Education, A Nation at Risk, calls for sweeping reforms in public education and teacher training. In 1990, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act adds autism and traumatic brain injury to the eligibility list. In 1993, the Massachusetts Education Reform Act implements high-stakes testing programs. In 1994, California voters passed Proposition 187, denying public education to undocumented immigrants in California. Fortunately, it's overturned. In 1998, the Higher Education Act is amended and requires states to produce report cards on academic process. The California voters passed Proposition 227, requiring that all public school instruction be in English. In 1998, the Columbine High School shooting occurred. It changes the security atmosphere of all U.S. schools.